I'm back. It's been a minute since the last upload, and that's partly because I just didn't have anything I really want to talk about in particular, but also because each time I think of making a video, I have to think of the editing, and that's why from now on, I'm just gonna put gameplay on the video and talk over it because I just don't want to make the screen static, which in turn will probably make the video boring. But also having some gameplay will lessen the editing process for me. And I guess, maybe make my video less boring or something. I don't fucking know. Anyway, enough of my rant. Since I don't have any manhwa in particular I want to talk about, I want to talk about a bunch that are ongoing and I'm currently reading. And now, since I've read almost 10,000 chapters, I can finally dictate whether a manhwa is good or bad. So now I can say with some level of certainty that these manhwas that I'm reading right now are pretty good. Starting with the first one. By the way, these are in no particular order. I've already recommended this in a short before, but it's also one of the manhwas that I'm still reading, so I'll include it in the video. But long story short, the manhwa is set in a world where there's people with abnormal powers because they were born in dungeons, and the lower they were born in, the stronger they are. The protagonist is the only survivor from one of the lowest floors reached, and he accidentally discovers a dungeon that chooses him as his master, and he works to rebuild a dungeon and protect his dungeon. There are also other dungeon masters on the same floor and other various floors, but the protagonist is the only human dungeon master. The rest are other types of monsters. It's basically a kingdom building manhwa, but for dungeons. Next one is called Rancor. The manhwa is kind of like an MMORPG, but the players and the characters are both normal humans that live in the real world. The players are usually rich people, and since they're rich, they can choose and change their character. Since they have money, you can just pay off some fucking random ass dude. The characters, on the other hand, are usually persuaded by either money or any other benefit. The players give orders to the characters through an earpiece, and the characters can technically do whatever they want, but at the end of the day, they risk being dropped by the player, which probably won't happen if you're a good character. And by a good character, I mean you have some sort of skill like boxing or martial arts that makes you valuable. So far, there isn't much of like a fantasy element to the story. Everything seems like realistic and plausible enough, which kind of makes it unique. But in the story, they basically compete with each other to win ridiculous amount of cash. And I don't know if this concept has been done before. Probably has, to be honest. But regardless, this manhwa is still really good. This is technically a manhwa, and I know it's rare to find an actual interesting manhwa, but I guess this is one of those rare times. The manhwa is kind of like a reincarnation, except instead of reincarnating in another world, it's the same world, but he just reincarnates into some other body in the future. In this world, there are demons, and they are classified by how many fins they have. The more fins, the stronger they are. And the main character was trying to kill the highest ranked demons, which all have 7 fins, but unluckily found out there was an even stronger demon which has 8 fins. As the 8 fins demon was about to do something to him, he gets reincarnated into another body of a warrior that's being trained to kill demons in the future. And there's also a twist to it, because before he gets reincarnated, the 8-finned demon did something interesting to him that actually gave him more power than he used to have. So if you don't find out what actually happened, go ahead and read it. It's one of the few good manhwas so far. To be honest with you, I think this manhwa takes place after World War II in an alternate reality. But basically, our main character is a third-class citizen who is part of an organization that wants to basically rebel. The government found out, and they were not happy because they killed his wife in front of him and even shot him, but somehow this man did not die. It turns out that his brother-in-law, who's a doctor, saved him. Another thing is that there's this competition where I think at least tier 2 and 3 citizens compete by killing each other for a single wish that they can choose. I don't really know what the extent of how much you can wish, but you can definitely at least ask to meet an influential figure like the Emperor, for example. Because one of the contestants actually asked for that in hopes that she will kill him, but she failed and died. Our main character, he basically wants to get revenge on the people that killed his wife, so he participates in the competition. And this competition is basically a battle royale, not gonna lie, but it's still very gruesome. This manhwa is kinda already popular, and it's kinda a manhwa with some generic aspects to it, but it's a really fun read. The main character basically regresses to when he was a child and does everything in the right way in order to get his revenge on his father, who is the patriarch of the family, which basically means he's the lord of a large family. Which basically means he's a lord of a large family or clan of sorts. The patriarch uses the main character as a hound for his whole life, carrying out assassinations and attacks on his command. And then when he gets too powerful to contain, he basically just kills him. When he's dead, he obviously regresses, and when he does, he makes it his goal to become the strongest or stronger and also survive in the family. Because in this family, the patriarch basically has multiple sons and daughters and makes all of them compete against each other. Whoever is the most competent in all aspects survives and becomes the next patriarch. Kinda again like a goddamn battle royale. So to survive, he needs to make the next patriarch like him, and also get strong enough to kill the patriarch to fulfill his revenge. The story is pretty fun to read. It has some romance, fantasy, and action. And it's pretty interesting. These manhwas aren't technically all the ones that I'm reading. There's still way more, but I didn't really want to make it a long video because my style is kind of making short videos. So I didn't want to make it longer than it needs to be. But if you want more of these manhwas that I'm reading, although they are pretty well known, drop a comment and I might think about it. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you.